Lots to go over with God of War Ragnarok at the moment, with a new update coming out, a lot of details we have on the next big sequel, as well as an Amazon TV series. So lots of good and possibly bad news. But before we get into any of that, you don't want to miss out on the massive event going on right now in Raid Shadow Legends. Millions of people are already playing Raid Shadow Legends because of the insane amounts of customization and freedom in its gameplay, giving you a ton of different boss fights and ways to play, and I mean, it's completely free. Plus, it's for just about every type of player, whether you're playing more competitively or just casually grinding through levels at work, which is a huge reason of why I like Raid Shadow Legends, because it gives you the option to just put a level on autopilot so you can fly through it while getting some work done at the same time. Whether you're a new or returning player, you can get the new free Ronda Rousey Legendary Champion for just logging in. Apparently, Ronda's been more focused on her boxing training lately, as she's traded in her rear naked choke and wrestling career for these crazy fists of fire, perfect for just about any team thanks to her wide variety of multi-hit moves, perfect for different boss fights and skills that allow her to quickly cool down. Also, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can get your exclusive rewards in Raid right now. After logging in and playing Raid for just 7 days between now and February 20th, you'll be able to use the brand new Ronda Rousey, and after using the promo code RAIDRONDA, you'll get a ton of extra rewards, such as a 3-day 100% XP boost, 5 full energy refills, and 500,000 silver, all for completely free just by using code RAIDRONDA. There's also new updates every month to keep you occupied with a limitless amount of content, so hurry up and click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen, because you don't want to miss out on all of this free content on top of Ronda, giving an additional $30 worth of items, such as a free epic champion, Vergis, an energy refill, an XP boost, another 200,000 silver, and even an ancient shard used to summon even more awesome champions. All of this treasure will be waiting in your inbox at the top right corner of the screen, and after grabbing those, you can come find me under the same old name, Astrosiv. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. So first off, we'll start with the smallest bit of God of War news, the update, since it was actually very small, which I think was like 200 megabytes, which only fixed a couple of issues, one being just some gameplay crash fixes, and the other being the sword at the center of Muspelheim, which should now be fixed as it was still bugging out after the last patch 3.0, which I believe was meant to fix it in their huge list of bug fixes, but was still having issues when you reload a checkpoint that already had that sword bugged out and kept you from being able to do the challenges or replay the center challenges of the Muspelheim trials, and even kept a lot of people from being able to fight the Valkyrie Queen, And I mean, I beat my trials, and it was letting me replay the center trials there in the middle for fun. Like, I was able to play the boss rush and all of that whenever I wanted, but then it suddenly disappeared at some point and still hasn't returned even after this update. Let me know down in the comments if any of you guys are still running into any bugs. I know in the past videos you guys were listing out a huge amount of like major bugs, so I'm curious to know if the majority of those have been fixed. God of War Ragnarok took the record for fastest selling PlayStation game ever, selling over 5 million copies during its first week, so it's not crazy to assume that there would be another God of War sequel. Back before God of War Ragnarok released, it was said that this would be the final installment in the Norse saga, and if you played through that game, like I'm sure you have by now, spoiler warning if you haven't, skip ahead to the next chapter if you haven't beat Ragnarok yet, but after beating it, half of me was left fulfilled, while the other half still has a lot of questions. It seemed like the perfect ending to Kratos' journey, but at the same time, I feel like I've been blue-balled into not seeing Kratos really get angry at all, which I get he's a changed man, and that's why at the same time, Kratos finally seems happy with his life while Atreus' journey is just beginning. That's why I could totally see a Loki game in the future, but would Sony really get rid of the God of War title? Probably not. I feel like there were some good grounds set for Atreus' gameplay portions of Ragnarok, and I'm sure something could be made for him to work so that he could get his own game, but I really don't think that would happen, which is why I thought some of Atreus' journey would have been good for a DLC. We know that's not happening though, because the director who took over for Cory Barlog for Ragnarok, Eric Williams, gave a lot of information during a couple spoiler casts with Kinda Funny Games and IGN, which we went over a little bit in the last video with the huge update in DLC information, which was said that the DLC would not be coming to God of War Ragnarok.
I know we got nothing for God of War 2018, but do you think we could get a DLC for Ragnarok?
I don't know, man. That game is big. I think we put everything we had into it, so I wouldn't count on it.
Fair it's okay to be like Thanos and just go rest in your garden.
Appreciate
Playing
that.
Castlevania Symphony.
Yeah. Hey, you guys can make it happen. You have the audience out here, the world. Like, I don't know what I'm doing next, but if somebody gets me that Castlevania license, we would love.
Well, in these interviews, they also go over quite a bit of information for potential sequels, specifically talking about Tyr.
We just and we wanted it to feel like the world's still there. You can't end and him say, there's much to do, and then it's just like the game's over and then that world stops. We wanted to have this like living, breathing post game where you get to see little wrap-ups with characters and you get little hints of where they could go in the future. And even though it's the end of the Norse saga, we leave it open for maybe there are other things with other mythologies and whatnot. So we'll see where the future of Santa Monica goes.
Now,
I mean, if you pay attention to Tyr, I mean, there's a reason why he does the 6 animations that he does at the end of the game.
So yeah, I have yet to see any real groundbreaking revelations with someone finding what Tyr's directions and what he's doing and how that could point to the next sequel. But if you guys have any ideas, leave it down in the comments, because it looks like Tyr will likely play a huge role in getting to our next setting.
He does very specific animations.
yes. So
May have seen that he's been traveling the world.
You can find him doing different meditation-styled stances throughout different realms after freeing him from the Niflheim broken prison, where you'll find him in Midgard just south of the Oarsmen and Eternal Campfire, as well as in the Strand of Alfheim gazing up at the stars like he's really plotting something, at Freyr's camp in Vanaheim really getting into it like he's praying for rain, in Helheim looking at the Raven, which I do think there's something left to do with this Raven, and then you can find him in Svartalfheim's Watchtower and the Spark of the World in Muspelheim. I really think that the sequels will likely be set in Egyptian mythology, or at least hope it is, because of the potential epic old school style giant boss fights that could happen. We had this nice sort of chilled out God of War experience, which I loved, but I'm hoping now we can bounce around to different places and just smash some stuff. And if not set in Egypt, I think it could involve multiple mythologies. I mean, Cory Barlog stated that his original vision for God of War 3 was to have the Egyptian and Norse gods jump the Greeks, so having the Egyptians in or having the intertwining between mythologies wouldn't be too far off. We also had this huge mystery behind the mask teased to such a high extent just to have nothing come of it. Maybe that will truly be the end for the mask, but I doubt it. Odin was sitting here god of everyone in the realms, and he's looking to the mask as if it's his god. It's like he's trying to find his origin the same way a human would. There's very likely something there, maybe something linking all of the mythologies, maybe someone even more powerful than these gods, but it'll be interesting to see what this plot will be about. Maybe we'll be spreading peace throughout not just the Norse realms, but every mythology. There's also plenty of mythologies out there besides Egyptian, such as a Japanese or Celtic mythology premise it could have, but let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to see for a sequel down below. You guys usually have some pretty good ideas brewing. As for perhaps the most interesting news, the God of War Amazon TV series, which I know there were rumors of a God of War TV series, but at the same time it kinda came out of nowhere because I never thought that there would actually be a God of War TV show that could exist, especially a live action version. Because yes, this is a live action God of War TV series, apparently based on the God of War 2018 game, so it'll be set in the Norse saga. As the president of Sony Pictures Television Studios, Catherine Pope has said that we are so proud and excited to be working with our friends at Amazon Studios and our partners at PlayStation Productions to adapt this beautiful and heartbreaking game into a premium live action series. The biggest question I think right now is who is going to play Kratos. Like, I've seen a lot of memes and edits of guys like Batista or The Edge playing Kratos, and a lot of people are hoping Christopher Judge, the actor playing Kratos right now, gets the role, which is who I'm rooting for as well. I mean, Kratos is supposed to be darker skinned anyway, with ashes covering his body making him white, so I could totally see them doing that. There's a lot of talk of Christopher Judge not being a great enough actor outside of gaming for the role, but I mean, have you guys seen this clip?
The scene when I go back and get the Blades of Chaos. It was probably not real early on, but early on in the filming. And that's kind of what I was like, do I want to go there? Because this was a moment. If I was going to take the scab off it as a person, as a human being, this is where it is.
There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know.
And I don't know, I'm not an actor, but I imagine it requires an immense amount of skill to be able to act like this with no real props other than this like green screen room. I don't know, but let me know down in the comments who you could see playing Kratos. Do you think they'll pick a good actor or go with someone with a big name? Do you think they'll toss The Rock in here to play Kratos? I mean, he does have the size. I really think Danny DeVito would be perfect for the role though. This is a similar place we were in with the Witcher TV series. Like, you were thinking who could possibly play Geralt and do a good job. But I mean, no matter what you thought of the Witcher show, Henry Cavill did a crazy good job on his part. Just the rest of everyone else, especially the writers, seemed to struggle with caring about the games, the books, and really the entire fan base. Don't even get me started on Halo, dude. The only good video game adaptation TV shows I can think of off the top of my head are Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Arcane, and Castlevania, and the thing that those all have in common is that they're all animated. I'd have a little more faith in the God of War TV adaptation if it weren't live action. It's very hard to picture anyone as Kratos, or even just their own version of Kratos. But besides it being a video game adaptation, which seems very hard to get right, it's an Amazon series, and I don't know if you guys have seen these shows that they've put out recently, specifically Rings of Power, but they did not do this series justice and sounds like they did not really care whatsoever about the fan base. Granted, I haven't finished the show, but I don't really want to. I haven't heard a single Lord of the Rings fan say that the Rings of Power is a good show. They seem to really want to cater to the people who don't play the games for some reason, and even then don't do a great job at doing that. If that weren't enough to make you worried, the showrunner in charge of it is Raph Judkins, the dude from Survivor and one of the people behind the Uncharted movie, where for some reason Mark Wahlberg was cast as Sully. I don't understand that. I still don't understand that. Based on that, you can only imagine that Kratos actually will be cast as Danny DeVito. He's also one of the people behind the Amazon series called Wheel of Time. I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't heard too great of things about it, especially costumes and that sort of thing appearing super fake, which makes it even harder to have hope. The only bit that does give me hope is that it's said to be a co-production between Sony Pictures and Amazon, with Cory Barlog also being involved somehow, which is probably the biggest chance of success it has. And I mean, we have yet to see these other PlayStation exclusive shows, and how they'll turn out to be. Like The Last of Us seems like it could be good, and it comes out next month, so I guess we'll have to wait and see, despite me not being able to unsee Jaime from Game of Thrones cast as Joel. And then the Horizon Zero Dawn Netflix series is apparently being worked on, but I'll be holding my breath on that one. If that actually turns out to be a good show, I'll take back any doubt I have of video game adaptations. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. See ya.